The story is told of a genie and a mermaid. These three men are out fishing one afternoon, and they catch a mermaid. And the mermaid's thrashing about, trying to get free, and finally she turns to them and says, "If you set me free, I will grant you each one wish." The first guy is a little dubious about all this, and he says, "Well, if you can really grant a wish, double my IQ." And the mermaid looks at him and says, "Done." And all of a sudden, he's reciting Shakespeare for the first time in his life. The second guy's a little amazed by this. So he said, "I'll tell you what, triple my IQ." And the mermaid looks at him and says, "Done." And all of a sudden, he's solving riddles physicists have been struggling with for centuries. Well, the third guy is totally blown away by all this. And he says, "If you want to be free, you've got to quintuple my IQ." Well, the mermaid looks at him with a little bit of alarm, and she says, "I don't usually try to discourage people from their wishes, but I don't think you know what you're asking." And he looks at her insistently and says, "If you don't increase my IQ by 5 times, I will not set you free." And she said, I don't think you understand what you're asking. If I do this for you, it's going to change your entire view of the universe." And he insisted. And so the mermaid looked at him and sighed and said, "Done." And he turned into a woman. There's not a single guy clapping right now. Because we know how true it is. Hey, just a story, you know. But that's exactly what God offered Solomon in the first reading this morning. "Ask something of me, anything," God said to Solomon, "and I'll give it to you." And notice what Solomon prayed for. He prayed for a listening heart. He prayed for wisdom, the wisdom of a listening heart, so that he could understand people better and understand right from wrong and govern them better. And I got to wondering, what would I have asked for? In the spur of the moment like that, God appears to me and says, "Gary, I'll grant any wish you want. Ask for something." What would you have asked for in the spur and the surprise of that moment? I suspect that what we would ask for, whether we like it or not, says a lot about us. It says a lot about the kind of person we are and we are becoming. So let me ask you again. If you had one wish, what would you wish for? Many would ask for health. You've heard the old saying, if you got your health, you've got it all. But you know, I'm not so sure. We all know people who are in great health but are miserable. And we all know people who are frail and sick but incredibly wise and loving. Maybe you would ask for a husband or a wife or a partner if you don't happen to have one right now. Or maybe if you happen to have one, you'd ask for a different one. But is that really what you want? After all, no relationship can absolutely fill us up, and all will at some point disappoint us. Every relationship, as we all know, ends sometimes. Some might wish for prosperity, financial security. But you know the story of Midas, a wealthy man who cared greatly about his wealth. And he also, at one point, stumbled into a genie, and the genie said to him, ask for anything you want, and I'll grant your wish. And he said, I want you to make it so that everything I touch turns to pure gold. And that genie said to him, done. And he was incredibly elated and excited because all of a sudden rocks and trees and furniture were turning into pure gold. He was elated until that afternoon when his daughter came running towards him. And he reached out for her. And she turned into cold metal. We all know people who have nothing close to what we have and who are still happy. And we all know people who have much and are so greedy and miserly still. What do you pray for when you pray? What do you wish for? The promise is that wish will be granted if you pray to be a better lover. If you pray to be a lover like Christ's love, what the church can guarantee you is that prayer, that wish, will be given to you. You will always be given that. And this is true of any gift that you ask for because you intend it for the good of other people. Notice why God gave Solomon his wish in the book of Kings this morning. I quote, God says to Solomon, because you have asked for this and not for a long life for yourself, nor for riches, nor for the life of your enemy, but for understanding, so that you may know what is right and govern your people well. That is the wish I will grant, and I do as you requested. If you and I ask for this kind of gift for others' sake, that grace, my friends, to be loving, to be more loving, like Christ was loving, will always, always be given you. You just got to want it. But this I know. God will grant that wish for you if it is essentially to make you a more loving person. But there might be something we have to do too. If we ask for that for others' sake and we find that gift, that grace not being realized in us, then maybe we need to check our own hearts some. Because perhaps there's some work I need to do that's blocking me, that's keeping me from receiving this gift that is guaranteed if I want it and ask for it. There might be something up that's keeping me from being free enough to receive it. The scripture is clear. If what you ask for is for others' sake, to help you become more loving, it will be given. So I'd invite you, just for a moment, to rest into your own heart some. And if it helps to close your eyes, please do that now. And take a few deep breaths into presence. And become aware of your own hopes and your own dreams that live inside you this morning. for Solomon to ask for the gift he needed, notice that he first was grateful. He first was grateful for what he already had. So let's do that first. Be in awareness for what you are most grateful for. Be aware of what you've already received. And just let yourself experience gratitude. And in that spirit of gratitude, we now turn to God in our need. What is it that you think this morning would be the greatest gift from God that you could wish for right now? Not just for your sake, but for the sake of loving people better. What is it that you think would be the greatest gift from God you could wish for to make you more loving at home, at the office, or in school, over these hot summer days, in your neighborhoods, or your own communities of faith? Now, ask for that gift. Ask for that gift and put your hand over your heart. And by holding your hand gently over your heart, that ancient seat of love, let that gift find its place there. Let it be there. Right now. And know this, that gift, that grace, has in fact